Across every corner of the globe, from dusty ancient texts to whispered fireside stories, there are tales of giants. These mysterious beings, towering over ordinary humans in both height and strength, have captivated our imagination for millennia. But what if these legends aren't just stories? What if giants were real? Let's journey back in time. In the Bible, we hear of the Nephilim, described as giants who walked the earth before the Great Flood. And who could forget the most famous giant of all? Goliath, the fearsome Philistine warrior who stood over 9 feet tall, a true colossus of his time, eventually brought down by the young David. The stories don't stop there. Hop over to ancient Greece and you'll find the Gigantes, a powerful race who waged an epic war against the gods of Olympus themselves. In the frosty lands of the north, Norse mythology speaks of the Jotun, or frost giants, the ancient and formidable rivals of gods like Thor and Odin. Even in Native American traditions and folklore from the Philippines, there are legends of giant beings who once roamed the land, shaping mountains and carving out rivers. With so many different cultures telling similar stories, you have to wonder, is there a common truth hidden beneath the myth? Could our ancestors have actually encountered these colossal figures? This is where history and archaeology step in. And what they've found is fascinating. Archaeologists have unearthed skeletons from ancient sites that are unusually tall. We're talking about individuals reaching 7 feet, and sometimes even more. Now, by today's standards, that might sound like a professional basketball player. But thousands of years ago, when the average height was much shorter, a person of that stature would have been truly gigantic, an awe-inspiring and perhaps intimidating sight. It's easy to see how encounters with such individuals could have sparked legends that were passed down through generations. Modern science also offers a compelling piece of the puzzle. There's a rare medical condition known as gigantism. It's caused by an overproduction of growth hormone, usually due to a tumor on the pituitary gland. This causes extreme and accelerated growth, leading to extraordinary height. People like Robert Wadlow, the tallest man in recorded history who reached an incredible 8 feet 11 inches, are real-life examples of this condition. So, in a very real sense, giants have existed and continue to exist among us, not as a separate species, but as rare individuals whose bodies grow beyond the typical human scale. This scientific explanation beautifully bridges the gap between myth and reality. It proves that human giants did walk the earth. They were not monsters or demigods, but people with a specific medical condition. For ancient civilizations without our modern understanding of hormones and genetics, these individuals would have seemed supernatural, easily becoming the basis for the powerful giants of legend. But here's the big question. What about the races of giants? The stories don't just talk about 1 or 2 tall people. They describe entire tribes and civilizations of them. The Nephilim, the Gigantes, the Jotun, were these actual societies of giants? This is where the trail goes cold. Despite countless claims and sensational headlines you might see online, there has never been any concrete, verifiable archaeological evidence of a civilization of giants. No giant cities, no giant tools, no graveyards filled with massive skeletons. Over the years, many supposed discoveries of giant skeletons have captured public attention. You've probably seen the photos. Enormous human skulls being excavated by archaeologists. Unfortunately, almost all of these have been exposed as hoaxes. Many were created for photo manipulation contests, while others were deliberate deceptions, sometimes even dating back to the 19th century, when showmen like P.T. Barnum capitalized on the public's fascination with the strange and gigantic. Other times, the findings were simply misinterpretations or exaggerations. A large mastodon bone might be mistaken for a human thigh bone, or the skeletons of several people found together might be incorrectly assembled into one giant frame. So, where does that leave us in our quest? Were giants real? The answer is a fascinating yes and no. Yes, extraordinarily tall humans have always existed. These real-life giants, products of genetics and medical conditions, were likely the seeds from which the myths grew. Their towering presence would have been enough to inspire awe, fear, and 1,000 stories that blended fact with fiction. But as for the towering races of giants from our most epic legends, the ones who battled gods and moved mountains, They almost certainly belong to the realm of myth. They are a powerful symbol in our collective human story, representing the untamed forces of nature, the challenges we must overcome, and the sheer scale of our own imagination. In the end, the legend of giants is a perfect example of how history becomes myth. Real-life encounters with unusually tall people, filtered through the lens of wonder and the passage of time, were woven into the grand, epic tapestries of mythology. The truth is often more complex and nuanced than a simple yes or no, living in the fascinating space where history, science, and legend meet. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the world of giants. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed unraveling this mystery, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. See you next time.